Witness theology and young earth creationism is stupid. If you are a Jehovah's Witness, you will be surprised to learn that there is a common thread that both young earth creationists and Jehovah's Witnesses use. And it came from the young earth creationists first. There is a problem that requires some apologia in the Bible. Many problems. This one specific problem we're going to talk about is the flood. And the specific aspect of the flood is that you cannot fit all of the known species onto the ark. There just isn't the volume. Never mind the logistics of getting all the animals in there. There are various requirements of like temperature and humidity and sunlight and pH and moisture that a person with, I don't know how advanced you think that Noah was, but like from the description of the ark, Bronze Age? Stone Age? He certainly wasn't, I don't know, maybe Iron Age if we're being very generous, but like, he didn't have the ability to set up a highly controlled box to put like, I don't know, poison arrow frogs in to keep them at the right pH and temperature and moisture and lighting conditions and whatever. Don't pretend to me that that's possible when the advanced technology described in the Bible is wood and tar. Wood and bitumen. That is, ain't describing no like climate-controlled HVAC units here. We'll ignore all of that because we're not worried about genetics and archaeology and paleontology and the many, many, many problems with the flood story. We are focused on one thing, and that is kinds. Kinds. You, my Jehovah's Witness viewers, share this with young earth creationists. The governing body and various young earth creationists both realized at some point that this is a problem. So how do we explain this away? Well, the governing body parrots what young earth creationist apologists say and say, the Bible says that you were to bring on two of each kind, and that doesn't mean species. That means some made-up thing that we have decided on that has no basis in biology. So instead of, two tigers and two bobcats and two cheetahs and two house cats and two lynx and two mountain lions and two panthers, Noah brought on two proto-cat animals that then diversified after leaving the ark into all of the cats that we see today. And so it goes for dogs and bears and whatever. This is completely nonsensical from a genetics and biology standpoint. And I will give you a little hint that this is insane hyperevolution. So you believe in evolution. You just believe in an absurd evolution that no one who actually believes in evolution could take seriously because it happens incredibly fast. Super weird. Doesn't make any sense. That's not the problem that I'm going to focus on with kinds. If you want to look it up, look up ark. And in the Insight book, it talks about how with this in mind, some investigators. Now, some investigators. There's no name there. There's no citations, as there rarely is in Watchtower publications. Investigators here is young earth creationist apologists. Some investigators have said, had there been as few as 43 kinds of mammals, 74 kinds of birds, 10 kinds of reptiles in the ark, they could have produced the variety of species known today. Prove it. Again, this is not the problem. We are building up to the specific problem I have with this idea of kinds. That's nonsense. But it's also unbiblical. It is unscriptural. This is the kind of thing that is touted at the Ark Encounter, which is the giant Ark museum, giant air quotes around that you can go and look at, or they show these sort of things. Animatronic, weird cat thing of which there's no fossils. There's no bones of this quasi-cat animal that they say, well, it must have existed. That's where all the cats came from, somehow. We're going to look just at the Bible, not at genetics, not at biology, not at experts, just the Bible, the source of all of your your knowledge, the source of truth. So, your own publications use kinds as an explanation. You can look up kind. It is shown in here many times. It is quoted in various things. It is quoted in the creation book. You know, that great book that disproves evolution. That's not at all a complete chock-a-block pile of misquotes and quote mining and absolute nonsense. It's in there. Kinds are a thing that the witnesses use as an excuse. Let's see what the Bible has to say. After all scriptures are inspired of God and beneficial for teaching and reproving and setting things straight. So let's set some things straight from the Bible. Romans 1:20, or we'll start 19. Because what may be known about God is clearly evident among them, for God made it clear to them, for his invisible qualities are clearly seen from the world's creation onwards, because they are perceived by the things made, even his eternal power and godship, so that they are inexcusable. Okay? John 1:3, speaking of Jesus. All things came into existence through him, and apart from him, not even one thing came into existence. What has come into existence by means of him was life, and the life was the light of men, etc. Don't care. And then Colossians 1:16, because by means of him all other things were created in the heavens and on the earth, the things visible and the things invisible, whether they're thrones or lordships or governments or authorities, all other things have been created through him and for him. In 17, also, he is before all things, and by means of him all other things were made to exist. So here's your problem. Kinds cannot be an explanation for the ark. It can't be. Because you have a severe problem with this. Now, the explanation for kinds that you will see from Young Earth Creationists and also the Watchtower publications is that leaving the ark, things adapted, not evolved. We're going to use the word adapted. The various circumstances that they were living in caused them to adapt somehow, by means we won't really go into, and diversify, by means that we won't really go into a variety of species. Interesting. Another problem that we will talk about that is related to this is that if you ask a witness, the new system, everything's going to be peaceful. You know, the lion is going to lie down with the lamb and eat straw like the bull. Predation is a problem for witnesses. They will say that this came after after Adam and Eve sinned, after their eviction from the Garden of Eden. Before that, all animals were peaceful. You know, most witnesses will probably allow for scavengers, but animals didn't kill. They would have just, waited for that gazelle to finally and fall over and then, go and eat it. Again, I'm going to point out that this is a problem for many reasons. For instance, poisonous snakes. What do they use their venom for? For hunting dead things? For hunting a papaya? What are they going to use that venom for? Poison arrow frogs. Why are they toxic if nothing's going to eat them when they're alive? Why does the porcupine have quills all over its back to defend itself from predators? Or the armadillo? Why can it roll up into an armored ball? There's a lot of animals with adaptations, like I talked about the owl and how much, I'll put a link there probably. Talked about how much the owl, the article, was it designed, the owl's wings. The wings of the owl are designed to be silent in flight. It has extremely sensitive hearing, it has giant eyes for super fine vision, night vision. It has giant, sharp, grasping, strong talons and a sharp beak. It is a killing machine. It is a machine specialized for hunting its prey, small animals, silently, dropping down on them, gulping them up, it coughs up a pellet of their bones and fur. Cool. If it was a scavenger, it would not look like that. It would look like a vulture. Form follows function. You do not have scavengers, pure scavengers, that have predatory features. They don't need them. You don't need to have the speed and agility of a cheetah if you're not hunting prey. You don't need to be like a carnivorous torpedo that is the great white shark with a giant body of super muscle and a huge maw of hundreds of razor sharp serrated teeth, rows upon them that can just shred flesh. It is designed, air quotes, for its purpose, its niche. Purpose and design implies consciousness. I'm an atheist. They fill a niche, and their features allow them to fill that specific niche. They've gotten them through accumulation of mutations selected for by pressures outside of them, that certain things allow them to pass on their genes to successfully reproduce and live. And now we have a giant fleshy torpedo that kills things. These things did not exist if you are a witness and you believe that in the Garden of Eden that great white sharks ate heads of iceberg lettuce or seaweed or, conveniently deceased seals. Oh, found one. No, they would not look like this. So where do these features come from? Kinds is an explanation for why there is predation, why there are. If you are a witness and looking at it, you can look at a cheetah, like I mentioned, and be like, those are a lot of things designed for hunting prey. Must have happened through adaptation afterwards. This contradicts the verses I just read. Kinds, just the idea of kinds, contradicts those in many ways. We'll go through this in order. Not in order, in a numbered list. I don't know, some number. It's because of sin. Well, first of all, theologically, that makes no sense because humans sinned, not animals, so why would they change? Doesn't really make any sense. I don't believe there's any scriptural support that would say that sin somehow, permeates all of the ecosystem and, is some sort of mutagen that causes animals to mutate. Doesn't really make sense theologically, and I don't think you can support it biblically. And it contradicts Romans 1:20, Colossians 1:16, and John 1:3. Because if it's clearly seen from world's creation onwards, what are you seeing if you're seeing an animal that has changed as a result of sin? You're not seeing God's qualities. You're seeing the fall of man, human imperfection, because someone is looking at some naughty pictures and, touching their bits. That's why tigers have big, sharp teeth. First, dumb. Second, contradicts this verse. The second reason you might say, you might point to where predation comes from is, God took his hands off the wheel, basically. When Adam and Eve sinned, God just let things go on their own. Well, that contradicts these verses also, because if this is purely random, God set up a system that within no time at all is filled with dangerous killing machines. Deadly machines. Poisonous, venomous. The king cobra can spit venom. The electric eel. The bear. Tigers. Whatever. Big, scary, dangerous killing machines. Not very cool of God to do that. Not very good forethought to do that. And again, you're not seeing God's attributes from creation onwards. You're seeing the result of random change. How could you look at a tiger and applying this verse in Romans 1:20 that his qualities, the invisible qualities of God are clearly seen from creation onwards? How would you know which of those were designed by God or which were random? You'd have no way of knowing. So how would you know God by looking at these animals if it's a result of random changes? Which is also just agreeing that evolution is a thing. If you're saying random changes and adaptation, that's evolution. Not a good explanation of evolution or an accurate one, but you're more on board than you think. The third thing that you might use as an excuse is Satan. Well, Satan corrupted things. Satan corrupted the animal and plant kingdom. Satan's the reason why there's so many killing machines. And then also the things that they eat that have defensive measures against the killing machines that eat them. It says that all things came into existence through Jesus, and apart from him, not even one thing came into existence. So the fall of man and sin being a mutagen or of some sort doesn't fit with that. Random chance doesn't fit with that. And Satan doesn't fit with that. Contradicting those three. And again, we must point out, if you look at a tiger and you look at its camouflage, its keen sense of smell, its strong muscles, its hunting patterns, its giant claws and fangs, if Satan corrupted the original vegetarian tiger that, hunted leaves, how would you know which things were from God and which things were from Satan? You wouldn't. Contradicts the verse in Romans. It cannot be sin, random, or Satan, because these three verses completely contradict that idea. So, kinds is stupid. You have to go back to the drawing board and try and explain how you fit. Let's look it up. I forgot to look this up early. Number of species. This is great audio. About 6.5 million, seems like. There's various ways of classifying things, so obviously this number fluctuates. This one says 11 million. So, I don't know, 1 to 11 million. That's a pretty wide window, but even if we go with 1.3 million, however many I think that was the one that was given, and we'll go with the low estimate from Watchtower Online Library of 1.3 million. You're not going to fit 2.6 million individual animals on the ark. You have to come up with a different solution than kinds. The governing body is teaching something that is clearly unscriptural. It can't be true. It can't be true if you take those three verses at face value without doing some interesting mental gymnastics where you redefine words. But it's pretty clear and explicit. All things came into existence through him. By means of him, all other things were created in heaven and on earth. All other things were created through him. By means of him, all other things were made to exist. Clearly seen from creation onwards, they are inexcusable. Paul even says they become empty-headed. So, according to Paul, you have to be a complete dummy to not look around the world, completely ignorant of the Hebrew religion, completely ignorant of the Jews. All you need to do is look around, look at animals and plants and something, and you'd figure out God based on the qualities you would see from his handiwork. Can't be random, can't be sin, can't be Satan. Now you got a problem. How do you fit all those things on a boat? Tiny, tiny boat. Not my problem because I don't believe in it. Utnapishtim. Look up Utnapishtim. A pre-biblical story that has some striking similarities to the Noah story. But anyway, that's irrelevant. I don't care about the logistics of the flood in this particular video. All I care about is the fact that the governing body teaches something that contradicts the Bible quite clearly. It's kind of a problem. And they also, like I said, look up Young Earth Creationism and their excuses on kinds. The governing body is cribbing from these guys without crediting them. And they're dumb. If you think going on the Ark encounter sounds stupid, if you think that going on there where they show some made-up dinosaur that's the proto-dinosaur that all their dinosaurs came from, you believe that. You might not know it, But it's in your publications, and you should believe it if you're a witness, because you have to believe all this stuff. This is the spiritual food. This is from the faithful and discreet slave. This is stamped with Jesus' approval. Or is it? Because, like I said, seems unscriptural. I have not tried this argument on a believing witness. Don't know how they would respond to it, but I would be interested to see. So, kinds are dumb for witnesses and for young Earth creationists, and besides the many reasons, the many angles that you can show that this is made up nonsense, also unbiblical, unscriptural, directly contradicts the Bible. Not found in the Bible. It's made up. Well, the Bible's made up too, but it's another layer of made up on top of that. That's it. If anybody tries this on a witness, I'd love to know how it goes. Let me know. That's all I've got. Thank you for watching to the end. If you like this and you want to see more of it, please subscribe, ring the bell, like, comment, share, those things. More than half of you are not subscribed. Subscribe for more content. Yeah. Thank you for watching to the end, though. Got a lot of new subscribers, and I appreciate every single one of you. I was going to say something about counting the hairs on your head, but it's dumb, and I don't know how to make that into a joke. Anyway, that's all I've got. Young Earth Creationism and the witnesses. This kind of blew my mind when I found out about it. I had no idea that the Young Earth Creationists shared this with the witnesses, that they had this in common. It's kind of should be a little unsettling if you're a witness to find out that people you think are dumb believe the same thing that you do. Should make you think. Anyway, that's it. That's the real end. I'll see you next time. Bye.